And who am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
What's up? You got Gossip Girl. Season 5, Episode 12, The Father and the Bride. This episode starts off with Nate explaining to Chuck that he's gone through every article the Spectre has posted and nothing warrants someone wanting to hurt him. Chuck asks possibly partnering with Gossip Girl, but Nate says she'll only help if he helps her. He's not sure what she means. He adds that not having her around is really nice, and Chuck replies that without Gossip Girl, he has no idea what Blair is doing or where she is. He also says that he has to find a way why she came out of her life, and that he has her doorman on retainer for surveillance. After Chuck leaves, Nate texts Gossip Girl asking what she has in mind. What she had in mind. At the Waldorf, Blair tells Beatrice that during their breakfast together, she's officially one of her bridesmaids in the wedding, and Blair also invites her to be the bachelorette party that evening. Beatrice is excited at the idea of attending an American bachelor party. Blair explains that Serena planned a dinner at Le Charlotte, or the Charlotte, and then to St. Regis for drinks. She leaves to meet with Father Smith. Outside, Dan and Serena are walking around Madison Avenue, bringing attention to their fake relationship. Dan asks where they supposed to go to. They're supposed to go to Spectator to launch their daily column, and Serena insists that Nate bought cab ads, and that he wants her to be photographed outside the office when it launches. She continues that the first column is about how Gossip Girl ruined her relationship and how they're flourishing now that she's gone. Yeah, too bad Serena doesn't know that Nate's secretly in allegiance with Gossip Girl. Dan says that publicity is helping our career as well, because Simon & Schuster moved up his new book meeting. At the church, Blair goes to confession and confides in Father Smith that she closed an elevator door on a woman. She then says that her dreams at night aren't about Louis, but about Chuck. She explains that once she becomes a princess, she'll fire Father Cavalia, and they'll make sure Father Smith becomes her advisor, so that he can be with her at all times for guidance. Once she leaves, it's revealed that the Father Cavalia was the real person there was conducting the confession the whole time and pretending to be Father Smith. So he now knows that Blair is trying to fire him. So he has to put a stop to this. He doesn't want to lose his job. So he has to make sure that Blair doesn't get married to Louis and doesn't become a princess, because if she does, she'll have right to fire him. And obviously, he doesn't want to be fired. I don't think we've met this guy before, but yeah. At the Spectator, Nate calls Chuck, who's following Blair. He sent Chuck a picture of Ivy's ex, on the day of the accident, carrying an envelope full of cash leaving the Empire. Chuck offers to have the hotel security pulled. After they hang up, Nate gets an email from Gossip Girl telling him it's his turn to do a favor. Back inside the church, Beatrice meets with the Father Cavalia, and he confirms that Blair is planning to replace him as soon as she becomes princess. But he isn't worried, as she won't ever become princess. He instructs Beatrice to get Blair drunk at her party, and if they don't stop the wedding, she will lose him. I guess they're a thing? I guess Beatrice and the father have a relationship? He explains that she's still in love with Chuck, and if Blair gets Beatrice drunk and alone with Chuck, they can show Louis that Blair isn't faithful, and that means Louis will basically call off the wedding. He will leave Blair. And that means Father Cavalia can keep his job, because, that means if Blair's not a princess, he won't get fired. So, that's his evil plan. Who knew we had a villain of the episode? Like, who knew that a church minister, a father who's always been there for God, who's always there to give advice for God, supposed to give church, is actually a villain in this Gossip Girl series. I get it. He doesn't want to get fired, which makes sense. Like Blair has no way to fire him. Like, I get it. Like, she wants Father Smith. But that doesn't mean that the dude gets to be fired. So, look, Blair, look what you did. You turned this guy into a villain who now wants to sabotage you because you want to fire him. And he doesn't want to lose his job. So, yeah. We now get our villain of the episode who now wants to sabotage Blair. And that's Father Cavalia. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. But that's how I think it's spelled. Cavalia. I don't think it's spelled right. Yeah. So, elsewhere outside, Dan and Serena arrive at spectators playing Lou and Rufus outside. Rufus hauls a cab with Serena's ad on it, and Dan brings a page up on the tablet. A photographer takes a picture of her when he realizes the page is blank. It's revealed that, Nate deleted Serena's column on the Serena's column page of Serena's column at Gossip Girl's request. Yep, see? Gossip Girl knows how to make Nate a villain. Serena goes upstairs to confront Nate about the article, but Nate obviously lies, saying that, the marketing team said awareness was too low, and she'll be the first to know when he decides that they're ready to launch. Yeah. Of course, Nate gives it to Serena. Oh, hey, Serena, I'm actually partners with the site that you're trying to. I'm actually partnering with the site of this person of the site that you're trying to protest and take down. So yeah, she told me to take down your site. So yeah. Of course, you can't say that. Outside, Dan and his assistant Alessandra are heading for his Simon & Schuster meeting. She admits that it will make the publishers just want him to write a sequel to Inside. Dan agrees and calls Serena to ask him to wait to publish the column. Serena explains that Nate delayed her column for the time being, but promises to make sure all the references to him will be in the past. Elsewhere, Blair and Beatrice are out to hand-pick the macaroons for the party. While outside, Beatrice mentions that Blair can have macaroons at any time, but only now has she to behave wildly for a night. Blair says no, there's no point in straying from the path she's on. She then spots Chuck and demands to know why he's following her. Chuck replies that he'll follow her anywhere for however long it takes to find out why she cut him out of her life. Beatrice then comes over and basically tells Chuck to go away and escorts Blair away. Of course, she's doing this so later she can get Chuck and Blair into a room. But still. Blair confesses that it might be better to cut loose anyway, anywhere Chuck won't find her. Beatrice agrees to make a new plan, i.e. it's still the plan that Father Cavalia and her are putting together. At the Spectator, Serena goes to wait for Nate in his office to discuss the column. She's seeing him up from Gossip Girl and realizes, that Nate deleted her column because he was told to, but she decides to go behind Nate's back and upload her column anyway. So, Nate went behind Serena's back and deleted the column, so now that Serena knows that he's working with Gossip Girl, she's like, oh, well, if Gossip Girl made him delete the column, made him go behind my back and delete my column, then I'll just go behind his back, like he already did, and re-upload the column. Which means that Nate will be peeved off already. So, yes, Nate and Serena are in a war. Who knows who will win. But yeah, at Dan's Simon & Schuster meeting, he proposes both a Western set in Reconstruction era and one about Manhattan in 100 years ago. However, the publishers encourage him to write something related to Inside. One of the reps explains that Serena's column went up recently, and there are already over 1,000 comments. Dan confused explains he wants to branch out into different genres, but the rest tell him that, they don't care. Yeah, the reps tell him that, yeah, they don't care and that he's just right what he knows. And to keep dating Serena for publicity. At the Spectator, Nate, of course, does the reasonable thing and tells Serena, yeah, you're fired. Yeah, you went behind my back and uploaded a column that I told you that wasn't right. And she, of course, says, bro, I know you're working for Gossip Girl. So he's like, well, then I'm still gonna fire you. Get out of my office. So yeah, Serena now no longer has a job. Yeah. So yeah. She calls Nate a liar and a hypocrite. Nate replies that she sent him photographic proof. Replies that Gossip Girl has been sending him photographic proof that Tripp was the one who sabotaged his car. Serena threatens to tell Tripp about Nate setting him up to take the fall and leave. Nate's assistant Tina filmed the whole argument and sends it to Gossip Girl. Does that mean Nate's assistant is a Gossip Girl person? At the Waldorf, Blair and Beatrice are planning their new theme party. Beatrice proposes a galactic theme, or I have no idea to say that. Party favors and alcohol. Blair reminds her that the most important detail is that they go somewhere Chuck can't find them. Beatrice adds it'll be a night she will never forget. Yeah, because Beatrice will be putting her and Chuck in a room. Chuck and her will make out. Louis will see this and be like, Blair, I cannot believe you betrayed my child. Our marriage is over. I'm done. I'm constantly outwitting, and you get out of my monarch. You and Chuck deserve each other. That's what she wants. That's what Beatrice wants. She wants a big fight. And very good French accent on my part. Even though I never took French class. Yeah. He would be like, Blair, we are over. You can have Chuck all you want. Our wedding will be over. I'm no longer marrying you. Let's go, Beatrice. Let's go ride on the sunset on our Monaco horses. Don't even know if they have Monaco horses, but still. Yeah. At Empire, Father Cavalia arrives to meet Chuck. He plants some seeds in Chuck's head that Beatrice is worried about the upcoming wedding, and they need Chuck's help to stop it. He informs Chuck of Blair's new party location, and if they work together, they can accomplish all they want. They head off together. Meanwhile, Blair, Beatrice, Penelope, and Jessica, Kat, and Caddy arrive at Panchitos for the party, which is a new restaurant which we will never see again. They propose a game. Beatrice holds a question and answer in the set of acts Blair's exes committed. If the girls guess the wrong answer, they have to take a shot. If they guess right, Blair takes a shot. Blair then agrees and realizes Serena isn't there. Beatrice says, "Oh, she just forgot to call her." And Blair goes off to do so. Serena explains that she has to take care of the last thing before she comes, but she'll be there soon. When they hang up, Blair goes downstairs. Serena goes upstairs at the Waldorfs and meets Tripp. He thanks her for the heads up, but says she isn't doing it for him. She's doing it because it's the right thing to do. Back at Panchitos, the girls are getting correct answers, and the questions through Beatrice texting them the answer. Blair is getting more and more drunk, and she begins to let loose and dance with strangers. Well, Beatrice calls text Father Cavalia that their plan is working. At the Humphrey Hall, Dan is reading Serena's column and tells Dan that he thinks it's great. Dan says it's a bad thing because his editor only wants a sequel inside now. Rufus says that he understands if Dan was sacrificing his career for real love, but since the relationship is fake, it makes no sense. Rufus agrees and goes off to find Serena to talk to her about it. Back at the bar, Blair tells Beatrice that she's having the best time, but she had her doubts about Beatrice, even though now she knows they're both nice people. Yeah, they're not. Beatrice explains why is she marrying Louis if she's not in love with him. Blair explains that some loves don't work out, but they're meant to be, but she doesn't love Louis. After realizing Blair is speaking from the heart, Beatrice goes to get some water to help her sober up. Basically meaning that, yeah, Beatrice has decided that, yeah, she's decided to not go with Cavalia's plan and has decided that she now wants to be nice to Blair and help her out and help her sober up. So, yeah, basically hearing what she said about Louis, saying that she loves him, basically makes her realize that, yeah, she had it wrong about Blair. and she shouldn't be trying to stop this wedding. So yeah, so she's deciding to go against Cavalia's plan. Back in the Waldorf, Trish denies having anything to do with Nate's almost accident. He says her Marine call a car to take her to the Empire, and that's when he saw William pass him over for Nate. He decided to take action. At the moment, William and Nate emerge from the dining room, and Nate mentions it was Serena's idea. Tripp asks what's going on, and Nate says he staged the argument with Serena to bait Tripp into pinning the accident on someone else. William announces that Marine has an alibi since she was with him meeting with the divorce lawyer. Meanwhile, Chuck arrives at Panchito with Father Cavalia, who heads into the bar to find Blair. However, Blair then steps outside to get some air. She sends Penelope to find Beatrice while waiting. A stranger hands her a joint, which Blair puts to her mouth. She then is approached by two police officers. Blair mistakes them for strippers, and when she reaches for one of their guns, they arrest her. Dan tries to stop the scene. Yeah, Dan's randomly here in this scene, but they want him to stay out of it. Back in the background, Evan begins to take photos. Chuck then steps out of his car, and Dan remarks that, of course, Chuck's there. At the jail, when she's released, Blair finds Beatrice and blames her for getting her arrested. Dan then defends Beatrice and says it was all Chuck's fault. Blair doesn't believe him as she set him up to be outside St. Regis. Blair says he saw him there, and Beatrice asks for a moment with Blair privately. At the Waldorf, Tripp explains the whole story to Nate, Serena, and William. He says he met Max, who followed William from Nate's office, and overheard them argue about William inviting Nate away for the weekend. Because he was so angry, he paid Max to break food from Nate's car, and half of the money right then, and half money when he finished the job. When they make the exchange of that second money, Max says he did it, then he left. Tripp then discovered he got played and ended up doing it himself. He reasons he wanted Nate to get banged up and never meant for Blair or Nate to be seriously hurt. But he was jealous William began playing his face, and Serena reminds Tripp about their car accident in season 3, episode 12, and that, unlike the last time, he got off scot-free. It won't happen again. She then gets text that Blair was arrested and leaves. At jail, Beatrice shows Blair that she bought the cell phones off of everyone at the bar, and if anyone talks, there won't be any proof anything happened. She also turns Blair's tiara to her, and the two hug. At the Waldorf, Williams puts Tripp in a car and turns himself in. However, Nate sort of sides with Tripp and says William is partly to blame because he always put him and Tripp against each other. William scoffs at the idea of Nate making it on his own, and Nate says he already has means set up buyers and will make them an offer. At the jail cell, Serena arrives and Dan says she's not pressing charges against Blair. Dan then breaks out so his career isn't hindered. Serena then goes along with it, and Blair and Beatrice then come out. Blair explains she's fine and had a fun evening. Beatrice then excuses herself to take a call from Father Cavalia. He asks her to bring Blair to the Empire, but Beatrice ends the plan, saying she doesn't want to hurt anyone. She finishes by saying that she knows he will never leave the church for her, and hangs up. At the law, Dan is reading Serena's column, and when he receives a call from her, she says that Blair is home safe and now asleep. Dan says that he read her column and is giving him a lump in his throat, but found it surprisingly real for a fake relationship. Serena almost tells him how she really feels about him when Chuck arrives at the penthouse. She tells him to leave, and Chuck says he wasn't responsible for what went down, but he isn't going to stop until he finds out the truth, because he doesn't give on people you love, because you don't give up on people you love. Next morning, Serena brings coffee to Blair, and she admits while she was drunk, she found Louise' wedding vows and read them. She admits to Serena that she wasn't reading the vow was actually what she needed to go to the wedding for the wedding of her choice, and that Serena doesn't need to keep fake dating Dan. Serena says she's going to the office to take down her column and leave, but not before opening Blair's curtains. Outside, Father Cavalia punishes Beatrice for deserting her plan. He explains that he told her... He said that he told Sophie that Beatrice would benefit from some volunteer work in Africa, and she agreed. Beatrice threatens to reveal they slept together and will cause him to be defrocked. I don't know what that means. And Father Cavalia assures her that Sophie isn't going to believe her scheming daughter over a royal plea, and she walks off. And that's the last we see of Sophie. Yeah, that's the last time we see of Beatrice. She never comes back. There's never a storyline with her ever again. Yeah, that's the last time we see her. I guess she went, I don't know if she went back, if Sophie sent her to Africa or not. We never see her again. Bye, Sophie. You actually kind of were a good character in your final episode. Well, no, Beatrice. Beatrice was a good character in her final episode. At the loft, Dan receives a call from Serena. She tells him that Blair wants them to keep up their fake relationship until the wedding. Dan hastily agrees as long as it's until the wedding. Serena suggests they go to dinner and a movie. And Dan says he'll call her later. When they hang up, Dan gets a package inside. He finds a copy of Strangers by Albert Camus, along with a letter from Louis thanking him for writing his vow. Oh, those were Dan's that she drunkenly found, and what made her want to continue to be the wedding. Yeah, Blair drunkenly found Dan's vow that he wrote for Louis for Blair, and that which made Blair want to continue with the wedding. Wow, that was a big plot reveal. At the church, Father Cavalia welcomes Chuck into the church, and he reveals he knows what's really in Blair's heart, and if they work together, they can stop the wedding. And yeah, Chuck agrees to team up with this guy to basically get Blair, but stop Blair from marrying Louis, so he can have Blair back. So yeah, that was episode 12. And next episode is the 100th episode of Gossip Girl, which means that I've done 100 reviews of this show. OMG, I've done 100 episodes of Gossip Girl, and I'm really excited. Yeah, next episode we got season 5, episode 13, GG, which is, Gossip Girl, but